All right. Well, Pete is busy recording with Grant Cardone in the other studio while Mark and I are doing the Rebels Edge today. And so we don't have Pete's Red Zone Sports. We have Mark and John's Red Zone Sports. And one of the things that you just can't ignore is one of the largest contracts in NFL history, certainly the largest for anybody but a quarterback. I mean, yes, Patrick Mahomes and a host of other quarterbacks have larger contracts, but Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings, unbelievable wide receiver, just got $35 million a year for 4 years, Mark. So this is more or less, boom, they just set a new stake in the ground for what it's going to take to sign other great receivers and people in the category of, game changer in the NFL, other than quarterbacks. This is a massive contract. The NFL, of course, just has a new TV deal that's going to just be pushing billions and billions more into their coffers. And I got to think, Mark, that this is really going to be hard on the Dallas Cowboys, among others. And the reason for that is they have three really marquee players for Dallas that are all going to be pointing to this contract saying, yeah, I want that too. And that's not even Dak Prescott, folks. So they also have Dak Prescott. So my gosh, Mark, a lot of money flowing into the NFL and right into the pockets of the biggest stars.
Yeah, I mean, certainly big news. It's not just the quarterbacks taking center stage anymore. We should have our producers cue that Jerry Maguire show me the money jumping up and down scene. That would have been perfect for this story. But yeah, what unbelievable 4-year, $140 million contract, guaranteed 100, I think. Congratulations to JJ. I can't do our Pete's Red Zone Sports without acknowledging or at least mentioning it's Stanley Cup time, right? Florida knocked out my beloved Rangers, facing off against the Oilers. We're going to see if the third time is the charm for Florida. And it's, John, I didn't know there was ice down here, but they have absolutely been dominating this sport, certainly this season. So we'll see. Who's your money in this Stanley Cup playoff, John? You got Panthers or Oilers? How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, the Oilers, it's a really interesting thing here, Mark, because it's been a while, and not just a short while, a long while, since we've had a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup Finals.
What are you talking about?
A boot, exactly. And I know our friend Tom Keene over at Bloomberg bemoans that fact because his beloved Canadiens, the Montreal team, or Montreal, hasn't made it in forever. And instead, this is Gretzky's former team. I know he ended up his career playing elsewhere, but he was an Edmonton Oiler. Now, I guess, Mark, that I'm going to go with our mutual friend, Vinny Viola and his Florida Panthers, because Vinny Viola, who owns doesn't own all of it, folks. It's publicly traded, Virtu Financial. I get it. They're one of the biggest high-frequency firms on the street. They they helped feed the pockets that Vinny emptied when he bought that team, Mark. And he didn't have to empty all that much because he bought them right. And now the Panthers have just been a phenom, as has Vinnick's team over on the Tampa Bay side, the Lightning. Yeah. So, I mean, I got to go with the Panthers, but I'd sure love to be sitting in either of these stadiums watching these teams play because they're both fantastic hockey teams. All right, Mark, let's wind it up with a little bit on sports gambling. And so this would be FanDuel, this would be DraftKings, this would be MGM or Wynn or any of the variations of sports betting that have proliferated since it became legal in a number of states, not across the nation, of course, but it's moving into the majority state of the nation in terms of legalized gambling on sports. And there's a guy who is an infielder for the Padres, which is San Diego, of course, and he may get a lifetime ban, Mark. And here's the interesting twist here. He wasn't gambling on games he was playing in, but nonetheless, he's a bit of an insider, isn't he? Because he's injured and he's on their injured list. But while he was on that list, he apparently was willing to cast some shekels here and there on various games. And that's a big no-no in most of these pro sports.
John, I just don't get it, right? It's really incomprehensible. This is not the first time this has happened. I mean, like, you ever hear of Pete Rose? Like, I mean, how many years back does that go? You're going to risk your professional career. This guy was not out of the game, right? He was injured and on the bench or on the sidelines because of the injury, but he still had a future ahead of him in terms of baseball, professional baseball. Now, probably not. Foolish, to say the least. But, John, here's what I'm excited about. The three of us are going to be in the other main studio here at Cardone Ventures tomorrow doing the Rebels Edge live, both me, Pete, and John on the desk, as we did to great fanfare just a couple of weeks ago. We're bringing that back. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, of course. And I'm going to be seeing you in a little bit. You're heading over here to the office, I hope.
I am. As soon as we finish this, as soon as we wrap, as they say, with John Farrow, I'll be heading out to see you in Aventura. So looking forward to that, Mark. Great job. Again, cold open, phenomenal. I don't know how you're going to follow that up with another cold open
They got to tune in tomorrow to find out, John. You got to tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a fact, folks. And make sure if you are someone who is interested in options that you check out itsnotanoption.com. I probably had 6 people on the plane, Mark, come up to me and say, hey, how do I get that book again? And I said, it's just the title of the book. If you go to that website, itsnotanoption.com, you can claim your free book, folks. And if you like some of the other stock news that Mark and I were talking about, many of these stocks, including AX, have a lot of unusual activity right now. Well, go to marketrebellion.com/get started. That's marketrebellion.com/get started. You can get started with 1 trade a week, a couple trades a week, 20 trades a day, whatever you're up for. We have subscriptions for you. marketrebellion.com/get started. Education too. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time.